Tucker Carlson once again decided to fearmonger about immigrants on his program. This time, though, he did it with a little sprinkle of the nonsense replacement theory. Let's watch.
They are not being persecuted by any government, and that's why they have not applied for asylum in any of the countries between Haiti and the United States, and there are many of them. Instead, these are economic migrants. They're rich enough for a plane ticket and a smartphone, but they're eager for the free health care, the education, the housing vouchers, food stamps, and much more that Joe Biden has promised them if they make it to the United States. So of course they're coming from Haiti and from the rest of the world. You would too. They'd be crazy not to come. Once they get here, the Biden administration plans to give them voting rights. That's in the works right now. So the people you just saw on your screen could very well be choosing your president at some point down the road. This is a manufactured crisis. This is an attempt to change the demographics of the United States in order to give permanent power to the Democratic Party. That's all it is, no matter what they tell you.
So this conspiracy theory about migrants coming in and Democrats allegedly allowing them to come in because Democrats want them to vote for Democratic candidates in elections. Like there's a lot to unpack there. But before we get to that theory, Waz, I want to mention a few things, okay? So first of all, the assumption that these people have shown up without the intention of applying for asylum. No, they want their day in front of a judge. They do want to apply for asylum. They're not allowed to because the Biden administration has decided to implement the same policy that Trump did, Title 42, that says, oh, because of a pandemic, we're not gonna allow any asylum seekers or any migrants into the country. So there's that, okay? And then also the cell phone argument was a curious one because the cell phone argument is like what conservative family members mention as like, I gotcha, whenever you're having a debate about welfare programs or social safety net programs. It's like, oh yeah, they want government aid, but they've got cell phones. Like, where did Tucker Carlson get that from? Like, how do you look at the imagery, the videos of those Haitian migrants being brutalized by Border Patrol agents? And the first thing that comes to mind is, yeah, they definitely got cell phones. But Tucker Carlson isn't an idiot. He knows the truth and he knows what he's doing. So Waz, let me bring you on to react to all of that because he's just a disgusting person.
Yeah, I think it's important that we show the audience the arguments being made on that side. Like you said, for when you do interact with the people in your lives who might be swayed by these arguments. Obviously, Tucker Carlson isn't engaging in any intellectual honesty or academic rigor when it comes to crafting and forming his arguments. It's just hate speech and trying to gin up a bunch of people's worst fears about immigrants coming and eating their babies alive in their cribs. The bottom line is we don't have a welfare state here. When he says they're gonna come and get free healthcare, what free healthcare?
Yeah, totally.
We don't have that here, right? Like that doesn't exist here. And again, it's important that we know what type of lies are being spewed on the other side. There's no point in me and you point by point striking down what Tucker Carlson has to say. And and what I would posit to him about, and so that they could ensure presidencies. Are these people gonna flood Alabama and Arkansas and Montana and all these places where the Republicans just win no matter what for no reason? And there's more trees than people. And they get to send 2 senators to the US Senate. I don't think so. I don't think migrants are gonna end up in Wyoming, but I would hope that they did if they were allowed to come here. And and it would be nice if we could change the demographics of some of those red states. That would be great.
Look at Wozni. You're telling on yourself, Waz. No, but also I love the admission in the argument as well, right? Because the admission is they're gonna vote for Democrats because we're so awful toward migrants. We're so awful to people of color. We're not gonna change that. We're gonna keep being awful. It's an interesting cell phone. But also, I wanted to just briefly mention the whole argument about people coming to the United States not because of crime in their home countries, but because of economic reasons. I think many cases, we have a responsibility to bring in asylum seekers based on economic reasons, especially like, migrants coming from places like Haiti, because of the fact that US business interests played a huge role in destabilizing that country. Right? I mean, when you look at the United States occupied that country for 19 years, starting in 1915, based on US business interests. And it didn't end after the US occupation ended. The US has very much meddled into the governmental affairs of Haiti, specifically on behalf of corporate interests. So that not only destabilizes the country, but it secures the poverty and the suffering of the very people who are coming to our border looking for safety, looking for freedom, just looking for a chance at a better life. And I get it, like the moral arguments aren't gonna play well to the right wing. They never will, and I'm not really mentioning that to try to persuade them. But I do think that the United States government and its unwillingness to ever take responsibility for what it has done in Latin American countries, in Middle Eastern countries, in Caribbean countries, the way that we've like destabilized countries all around the globe, and it's led to a flow of migrants into to our borders as a result. Like we should take responsibility for what we did. Like stop acting like we have no role in this. Like the thing that gets under my skin the most, Waz, is like this like how the US acts like we're victims. Like the government, members of our media, they act like, oh, we're so victimized by migrants coming to the border. And it's like, what are you even talking about? Like go take a good hard look at what we've done it's not just Haiti. I mean, we've talked about it so many times on this show, and I know I sound repetitive, and I apologize for people who are rolling their eyes at me being repetitive. But it's just the truth, right? It's the truth. And the same thing is gonna happen with climate change. We have played the biggest role in polluting the planet. That is gonna lead to a migrant crisis. And then we're gonna turn around and be like, why are we being victimized by these migrants coming to our border? No, we're not victims, okay? We've done this ourselves. We've brought this upon ourselves, but instead of treating it as some sort of like awful thing that we're being punished by, or something that makes us a victim, we should see all of the incredible things that immigrants have done in this country to enrich this country, right? Like anyway, sorry, go ahead, Waz.
Yeah, and I think you're getting at something very, very, very important, Anna, and that's the government can't come out and say, yes, we screwed that thing up royally in Haiti. We screwed that thing up royally in Guatemala. We screwed that thing up royally in Nicaragua. You name it, country after country where we screwed it up royally. Because if they start tying stuff like immigration to or migrants to the actions of, say, the CIA abroad, and citizens start saying, hold on, there's consequences to what the CIA did, and citizens start wanting the CIA to be held accountable. You can't set that precedent, Anna. Come on now. The way the CIA operates is that they are wholly unaccountable to anybody, not the citizenry, not the United States government. Obviously, they're not gonna hold themselves accountable. And so, of course, Joe Biden can't come out and be like, well, the CIA screwed that up. We can't just leave these people in the cold, because that would mean we were holding the CIA accountable for anything ever. And that can't ever be the case, obviously.
Can you imagine if Biden had the kind of candid speeches that Trump did? Because Trump had no problem attacking various government agencies, but like for all the wrong reasons.
They came after him. Yeah, and they came after him too. Where you're seeing stuff in the New York Times about the heroic, covert operatives of the CIA, all these clandestine heroes, all of this shiny stuff, and it's like, really, guys? Do we really want to romanticize the CIA? Really?
Yeah.
That the people who have been responsible for so much freaking carnage around the world. It's craziness.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.